back to Love Your Food. This week we have part 2 of our amazing Cajun feast, and our recipe this week is Cajun red beans and rice. Now, there are lots of different types of red beans that you can use for this, and I think we use kidney beans in ours. And it's got a lot of the same base as the gumbo, but let's start with some ingredients. So here's our beans. We've had these soaking for some time. We have some more andouille sausage, some garlic, a shallot. We're going to be using an onion, once again a poblano pepper, and a red pepper that you can't see here, bay leaf, some black pepper, and some hot pepper as well, some dried chili there, some celery, and for some garnish we have some green onions. So already you can see it's going to be a little bit similar to the gumbo in the base flavors, but it will be significantly different, and it is also delicious. So first thing we're going to do is drain and rinse our beans. So these have been soaking for several hours at least. You definitely want to get them soaked well, then give them a good rinse, and then get them into your pot. You just want enough water in there to cover them well. And then we're going to cook these actually for quite a long time. Now you don't want to salt the water because that will increase the amount of time it takes to cook. And every once in a while you just want to give it a little stir once it's boiling. Make sure there's nothing sticking to the bottom. And once it's boiling and simmering, that's a good time to start getting your vegetables ready. So we're going to take our poblano pepper here. And Chef Caleb's going to take all of the outside off. We don't want the seeds. They're quite spicy and also not a great texture. So we're going to get rid of all of those seeds in there. And then we're just going to cut that into strips. And then from the strips, we're just going to dice it. And you want to try and get everything roughly the same size. And you can treat your red pepper exactly the same way. And we're going to do the same with our celery. Just pretty easy chop on the celery. Again, you want to try and get reasonably even-sized pieces. This is all going to cook down in the broth and with the beans. And we're going to dice our onions. So very much like the gumbo, we're going to do the same sort of cut on the onions as we did there. And you can see here roughly the size we're going for here. A nice fine chop on the shallot as well. And it helps to have an extremely sharp knife for this. And then we're just going to give the garlic a little rough chop as well. The size of the garlic sort of depends on the flavor in the final product. So chopping it quite fine actually encourages it to be a little sharper and a little more forward in its flavor. So we're going to give it a good chop. Meanwhile, we're going to check out our beans and see where they are. Good idea, once you've got them boiling for quite some time, you do want to test them to make sure that they're not done, or if they need more time, now is the time to find that out. So give them a taste. If they need more time, give them more time. And just give it a good taste to make sure that it's about where you want it. When it gets close, that's when we're going to start getting the rest of our ingredients together. So we're going to chop our andouille sausage very much like we did for the gumbo. You like good meaty pieces of sausage in your dish. And we're going to put that into a pan and get a good sear on both sides of that. Now, once you have that sear on both sides, and I apologize, some of my footage from this episode did get lost, so I didn't get the shot of adding the vegetables to this. But once you've got a good sear on both sides, we're just going to add the vegetables right to this pan with the sausages. So that's going to go right in there. A little sprinkle of salt on top. And you can see here, Chef Caleb is going to show us the sausage underneath. And this is going to do a couple of things. It's going to start cooking the vegetables, and the juices coming out of the vegetables, as you can see here, are going to deglaze all that really nice sear that sticks to the pan. So it's sort of an automatically deglazing dish. So all that flavor is going to get caught up in those veggies as the juices come out, and that's very, very helpful. So once your veggies have started to wilt, the celery has gone translucent, the onions are starting to get a little soft around the edges, we're just going to add that straight into the beans. So it's all going to go in there. The sausage, all the vegetables, everything that we've been cooking together there, we're just going to add it right to the beans pot. So there you go. That's everything added in there. Make sure you get all that great juice. It's got a lot of flavor in it. That beautiful foam from the bottom of the pan that the vegetable juices deglazed. And we're just going to mix that in with our beans. Now, if you've added rather a lot of material to your pot and you find that you're a little low on liquid, that's fine. You can just add some of that amazing shrimp stock that we cooked the gumbo in as well, which is exactly what we're going to do here. So we're just going to top that off with a little bit of that shrimp stock and give it a little stir and let that cook some more. And you want to cook that covered. After that's cooked for a little while longer, we're going to add our bay leaf. This is our black pepper and the crushed dried pepper that we showed you at the beginning. We dried those ourselves. Those are some amazing local peppers. Really great heat and flavor. And just going to stir that in, and again, cover it for a little more cooking. This one's a really sort of a hands-off dish. It's a lot of cooking, but it's not very labor intensive. So once everything's getting pretty close to done, we're just going to scoop some of those beans out of there. If you're getting pieces of the sausage as well, you're going to want to sort of pick those out. Probably easier with tongs, but we're going to get the bit of sausages out, and we're going to crush just a few of the beans, not all of them. And we're going to give them a good mash. We have a potato masher here. And this is to thicken the whole dish. So we're going to give this a good mash, just in a mixing bowl here while it's still hot. You can see here we've got it pretty smooth. Just get everything mashed together, and we're just going to add that right back to the beans. And that's going to thicken the whole dish. It's going to make this amazing, rich gravy around the beans and vegetables and sausage. It's going to make this amazing, thick sort of stew around everything. Absolutely delicious. Of course, you can use, whatever kind of red beans you like in this. So when that's getting really close to done, for our garnish, we're just going to chop a little bit of this green onion here. And there you go. It's just a garnish. You don't need to be too fancy about it, but it does have an amazing flavor that's going to add to the whole dish when you've sprinkled it over top. And then once your beans are done, you're going to get a bowl of rice. I bet you're wondering where the rice was coming from. You can check out our rice recipe that we did a little while ago. We did brown rice, but it's about the same technique for white rice. And that's it. That's the whole dish. A lot of the ingredients were very, very similar to the gumbo, but the final dish is very different in texture, very different in flavor, very different presentation. We actually serve them side by side. They don't taste the same. Don't worry about that. They're very, very different sort of techniques and recipes, but they're both delicious, very rich, amazing, Cajun food, and absolutely dead simple, as you can see here. So if you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.